Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Anandita Azra Rosadi, and I am a student in the School of Business and Management and Institute of Technology Bandung, Indonesia. I will be presenting my paper with the title of How Does the Implementation of Islamic Financial Literacy to Younger Generations in Indonesia Can Generate Greater Outcomes to the Society. Here is the topics that I will be discussing in the presentation. So, according to Bank Indonesia, Indonesia will have a positive outlook in 2023 by the GDP's growth of 5.3% in 2022. With the objective of economic growth, Indonesian Bank needs to develop a stronger foundation for its finance. Therefore, banks are transforming their policies to help maintain stability and economic growth. Banks in Indonesia are classified into three types, which are the commercial, rural, and Sharia bank. While 86.9% of the population are Muslims, Sharia banks are becoming a growing interest to Indonesians. The implementation of Islamic financing is relatively new compared to conventional financings, but the first Sharia bank itself was established in 1991 and then began popularizing in 2011. The conventional banks are more familiar to the society, as before the development of Sharia banks, their policies have been available since the decades before. According to Indonesia's Financial Service Authority, financial literacy is a person's knowledge, skill, and confidence in performing financial activity with the effect of their capacity to make financial decisions and manage their finance. On a national survey, the National Financial Literacy Index is 49.68% in 2022. Young adults with age of 18 to 25 years old accounts for 44.04% of the index. Indonesia's government have made an attempt to increase the country's economy through the role of financial literacy with the help of national institutions and ministries, and that such policies should be applied in a large scope in order to fully maximize the result. The objective of this research is to determine the level of interest of young Indonesians towards Islamic financial literacy and also to identify the effectiveness of Islamic financial literacy policies that the young generation of Indonesia have implemented. And lastly, to identify the effect of young generation to be Islamic financial literate generates impact to society. There are several literatures that I have reviewed for this research. First of all, according to Ahmad et al., the concept of Islamic financial literacy is based on two principal factors, which are the knowledge of riba and the concept of profit sharing, as well as the perceptions of adhering to Sharia laws. The understanding of Islamic financial literacy is defined as the knowledge and ability to the principles and practice of Islamic finance. The second literature explains that the principle of Islamic finance revolves around the term interest fee, or the basis of Islamic principle which prohibits the act of putting an interest on a loan. According to Mahargianti, the new pillar of power and polarization in Indonesia's Islamic economy was created by Bank Syariah Indonesia, which also altered the country's Islamic banking landscape. This has given the option for Muslims and other consumers of Indonesia to use Sharia banks as their bank. For the methodology, a quantitative research approach is used in order to derive functional relationship between the variables. The data for this research are based on primary data as their source of data. So, as you obtain primary data for this research, a survey is conducted through questionnaire and is spread for a sample to participate in. The types of sampling used is purposive sampling, and also the sample gathered for this research had reached to 70 survey respondents. The data analysis process for this research is descriptive analysis, validity tests, correlation analysis, and regression analysis. So moving on to the findings, the result of the financial literacy level presented in the graph shown, it is found that 48.6% of the respondents rated themselves as being very financial literate, and 35.7% of the respondents rated 3 being financially literate. None of the respondents responded to 1 being not literate. Thus, the overall respondents of this survey are moderately financially literate. Upon asking their familiarity with financial Islamic concept, uh, almost half of the respondents are aware of the concepts. But however, when asking their engagement in the policies of Islamic financial literacy, only 17.1% of the respondents are engaged with such initiatives. To determine the statistical significance of the variable used in this research, this study is conducted a validity test. The questionnaire validity tests were tested using the R value, and the result shows that the question's answers were reliable because the R value was higher than the R table, and additionally, a cornback alpha coefficient of 0.0801 was discovered, suggesting the validity and sufficiency of the items. On evaluating the correlation between each variable, the results shows a positive correlation and significance. Islamic financial literacy with 47.7% and outcome for society with 49.1% have a moderate correlation with each other. As for the regression analysis, the first table showed that the R-square is 0.241, which means that the Islamic financial literacy can be explained by 24.1% to the outcomes to the society. Thus, there is a small relationship, and that the remaining 75.9% of the relationship between the two variables is explained by other factors. Therefore, such variables should have been taken into consideration to correlate these relationships. And on the second table, the relationship of Islamic financial literacy and its policies is analyzed to be significant with the p-value is less than 0.05. Therefore, the first two regression analyses are found to have a significance to their variables. However, the policies implemented is not statistically significant to the independent and dependent variable as the p-value is larger than 0.05. Therefore, the current Islamic financial literacy policies are not effective to be implemented for the young generation of Indonesia, for it is not significant enough to give an impact to the level of Islamic financial literacy and its outcome. We have come to the conclusion part. This research aims to investigate how the young generation of Indonesia have adequate literacy about Islamic financial literacy and how it is effective to give positive outcomes to the society. With the growing interest in Islamic finance, the need of the society to have knowledge and literacy on Islamic finance is needed. Through data obtained and analyzed, it is found that the young Indonesians have moderate literacy on Islamic finance and moderate concern to be literate in it. Such policies implemented are found to be not effective enough to the young Indonesian, and there is no direct relationship measured from analyzing Islamic financial literacy with generation of better outcomes to society. That is all from my presentation. Thank you for listening.